Hey guys, this is VT Vengeance and today we'll be reviewing the heaviest tank in the game, the Panzerkampfwagen 8 Maus. Now this is a tank that most new players really want to get their hands on, and this video is going to show them what the tank is actually capable of, and not only that, but also to seasoned players what you can do to improve your gameplay with it. And I'm going to go through three steps that I always go through when reviewing a tank. First, the stats. When basically the stats includes all the stats around here, crew perks, and equipment. Secondly, we'll show you a battle that I'm playing in the mouse and proving the point to the things I was saying while in the garage. And the third will be a battle played by a player that is going to truly show the mouse in its entire power. So let's get through the stats. This tank has 3000 health points, the most health points any tank has in this entire game. 3000 health points is enough to be able to tank a lot of shots, especially with good armor that this tank also has. 200 millimeters of frontal armor angled at a 45 degree, 185 at the sides, 160 at the rear. This tank has more armor on the rear than a King Tiger has at the front. Turret armor 240 millimeters at the front, 200 at the sides and 200 at the rear. So not only does it have really good frontal armor, it also has very good side armor and rear armor as well. However, a weak point of this tank, as most of you already know probably, but for those of you who don't know, here they are the weak points of the mouse. So we have a lower glacis, first weak point, second weak point, cheeks of the turret, and the third weak point, but this only works if the enemy mouse is angling like this, so usually in this kind of situation you can't really penetrate the turret or the lower plate. You have to shoot in this area of the tank, where not only do you have the drive wheel, but basically the shot goes through the drive wheel, which is considered by the game spaced armor, and it goes into the tank and penetrates. It's a really easy weak point to hit. So, let's see. Mobility. The mobility of the mouse is of course really appalling. It does have 191 tons, engine power 750 brake horsepower. Now this is a lot of horsepower, but for a tank that weighs almost 200 tons, it's not really enough to compensate. So this means the mouse is restricted to a 20 km per hour top speed and a 15 km per hour rear speed. The rear speed is 16 degrees per second. This makes the mouse really slow in turning around and reacting to new threats. Basically it means that in the mouse you have to know where you're going, what you're doing when a game starts, because you won't really have the chance to go back and deal with threats that are on the other side of the map. If you are committed to one flank, you will have to stick with that flank to the end. Also, the turret is really slow rotating. I don't see it in the stats around here, but turret is also really slow, so you have to watch out for being flanked. Even though you have really good armor on the sides as well, you have to watch out for flankers. Like, even some heavy tanks can flank you in the mouse because you are so slow turning, especially on bad terrain. Concealment, I don't even have to go through it. And spotting, it has a basic view range of 400 meters, and I have 409 because of the crew. Now for the crew, you pretty much need repairs. This is compulsory. Second, I have brothers in arms. I put the crew really bad on the mouse. I should just drop all the crew and put brothers in arms first and then repairs. This is how you need to go. So repairs first, drop repairs for brothers in arms, and put repairs second skill. Then go for sixth sense and all that stuff. So yeah, those are pretty much the stats. And also I almost forgot, you need first of all super heavy spall liner, because you're the main target of the artillery. Every artillery player that sees a mouse will try to target them and bring them down as fast as possible, not only but because they can farm a lot of damage, but also the mouse is slow and can't really escape the artillery. Secondly, ventilation and large caliber tank gun rammer for the extra rate of fire and all that good stuff. So, let's see some mouse action. Alright, so here we are on Westfield. I'm in my mouse, and this is a tier 10 game. So, as I was saying in the garage earlier, when you are in a battle with the mouse, you have to think where the enemies are going to be headed, basically where the main fight is going to be. So they have a couple of heavy tanks, couple of tank destroyers, and not really many medium tanks, which means there won't be many tanks on this part of the map. However, I'm expecting a lot of enemies to be in the town. But as you're going to see, the main enemy force is going to be on my right. Still not very far from where I am, so I will be able to change my location and react accordingly to the threat. So in the mouse, when you see this kind of situation, you really have to think about your armor. You have to take into consideration where you're going to be shot at from, and you need to point your strongest armor towards the area that you're being shot at. The thing with the mouse, apart from other tanks, is the fact that it has so thick side armor and ear armor, you can really bounce shots from a lot of angles that would not be possible with other tanks. So right now I can fight on two flanks. Those two guys, this VK450-A and the King Tiger on my left. I can fight them at the same time because I have the side armor to protect me. And as you can see, the enemies are pushing in the back, so what I need to do right now is that I don't want to get flanked and be shot at from the rear. I push forward and I fight. And now you're going to see how slow the mouse is. This is a heavy tank. It's a fast heavy tank, but it's a heavy tank. And just look how being shot at by artillery, which always happens in the mouse by the way, means that this heavy tank is able to do circles around me simply because I have such a slow turret traverse. Now, just to pause a little bit, at this kind of angle, that is a King Tiger. And it looks like he has the 88 millimeter. Now, that thing has 200 millimeters of penetration, and I have 180 millimeters of side armor and 160 millimeters of rear armor. At this kind of angle, maybe if I angle just a little bit to the right, how you see the tank right now, that guy has absolutely no chance of penetrating me, even though I am with the back at him. So this is what I'm thinking right now. I'm basically angling with the back of the tank and also trying to shoot him. Unfortunately, it bounces, but it's not a problem as the allied IS-3 is able to finish him off really quickly. So now I see that there are a lot of enemy tanks in front of me, but also there is this Swedish tank destroyer in the back that I don't want to be shooting at me. And I'm thinking about going over the hill. Now this is a risky move because that S3V103B will be able to shoot at me from the back, as you can see he's doing right now. So as soon as I see that he's shooting, I know that I don't have time to turn, and it's going to take less time to hide behind this VK rack other than to turn my face towards that guy. Also, he has 308 millimeters of penetration on his APCR rounds, which means that even angled, I might be able to not bounce shots from him. There is also Conqueror coming, and I managed to hit him and penetrate him. He also penetrates me back. I think he penetrated me on the side, but as you can see, this tank has so much health that even though I've taken a lot of beating and I've got penetrated by that STRV in the back and this Conqueror on the side, I still have enough health to be able to fight him off because I know that even though I have only 500 health points left, he's most likely not going to be able to penetrate me most of the time if I stay angled correctly. The main thing with the mouse is that after you fire, you have to turn your turret away, because if you don't turn your turret away, they will be able to penetrate your turret cheeks, like I showed in the garage, right here. Because the armor is in a convex shape, and if you shoot on the flat side, you basically have to penetrate 240 millimeters. So we managed to win this one, and I managed to showcase exactly how much it means to have a 3000 health pool. Also, showed you guys exactly how slow the traverse on the tank is, and how the VK4502A and the King Tiger were able to do circles around me. Well, the King Tiger not really, but the VK, and how I was able to react to them really, really slowly. However, the very large health pool and the good armor saved me, and I managed to deal about 4000 damage, and it says I had only 1600 damage blocked and about 2500 damage received. So I have about 3000 something potential damage received, and I actually liked the potential damage received more than damage blocked, because if somebody shoots at your track and the tracks absorb the damage, it won't really count as damage blocked even though it practically is. So they should, in my opinion, they should bring back the potential damage received module. That being said, let's jump into a professional battle in the mouse. So here we are on Lakeville, and we have Dustlick here in his mouse, and this is an encounter battle. So he did what every mouse driver should do. He went straight for the cap circle, and not really to cap, but because the cap circle is guaranteed to have action. The thing is, if he goes to the cap circle and the enemy tanks are not here, they're just going to cap and win. So it's really easy, and if they do come to fight for the cap, he's going to be in there and bring the pain. Now, he just fired a shot into the Kranwagen. Actually, it wasn't the Kranwagen. The Kranwagen is a tier 10, it's the Emil 1. Puts another shot into the E50. Bounces the shot from the E50. Gets penetrated from the left. And this is really much where the mouse excels, and this is the kind of combat situation in which the mouse excels. He doesn't have a very big DPM, and he doesn't have to fight based on the DPM. He just goes in, puts his shot, goes back to safety into the reload, and whenever he comes out, he has the most armor in the game to protect him, and the biggest health pool in the game to cover him in case he gets penetrated by something. So there isn't really a better situation in which the mouse can be. The problem with the mouse is that on other maps that are open, it can't really do anything. It's open terrain, you have to fight based on your DPM. Artillery is going to be shooting at you. Right now he can protect himself from artillery really, really easily, which is impossible on open maps like steps. Now he's backing away, he sees an ISU-152. The ISU-152 doesn't look like it has the BL-10, so it's really not going to put any problems to him, and it's already dead. So goodbye, Mr. ISU. It was nice seeing you. T28. The T28 has really good frontal armor. It has about 250 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. However, the top armor on that thing, the same with the T95, is really, really bad. And the way that the T28 was sitting, and oops, the enemy T49 on the side, he makes a little mistake and gets shot in the side, and now the T49 fires back, but it was firing AP and it looks like it bounced. Centurion Action X is trying to flank him. It does put a nice shot into his side, tracking him. However, the enemy SDA2 is not paying attention to his flanks and gets shot between the houses. Now he's surrounded, there are two enemy tanks around him, however he's on almost two-thirds of his health. Puts a nice shot on the back of the Centurion AX. Don't know if I would have pulled the trigger there. Probably I would have, because you don't really have a choice in this kind of situation. If you lose time, not shooting at enemy tanks when you have a chance of killing them. They are going to fight back, and because you're outnumbered, you're going to die really, really quickly. Especially in a tank like the Mouse that has a very poor reload. So he manages to also finish off the T-49. He's killed the Centurion Action X, a T-49, and an ST-A2. Three really fast tanks on the enemy team with really powerful guns that could have posed a threat to him. Now look at this. He's not going into the cap even though he could have. And I know exactly, I mean, I can guess, but I'm pretty sure he was smelling that he's going to have an awesome game. He was like, okay, just finished off three enemy tanks in very quick succession. I could have kept right now, but he knows it's gonna be good. He knows what's up, so he didn't go into the cap, and so the enemy team had time to defend, and it's really going to pay off. I'm 99% sure this is what he was thinking. He knew what's gonna be the business here because there is one cap circle, he's right in it, and they really can't cap unless they kill him. So he's in the perfect situation in the and look at this, there is also only a T125 in the enemy team. It can really do damage to him and also the artillery, but the way he's sitting right now between the buildings, there is really no way the artillery is going to do anything to him. That was a little bit lucky, I have to be honest with you. The shot probably went low, right into the lower glacis of the T125. There was also a chance that it could have bounced in that kind of situation. But he just finished off probably the last tank that could have penetrated him. The E75 would normally be able to fight a mouse because they have the same gun, but that E75, I'm not sure, but it didn't look like he has the top gun. It looks like he has the 105mm that you get from the King Tiger. The E75 is flanking around him. He sees this, so he's rushing on the T32. The T32 is on CLS, but he knows he doesn't have time to fight the T32 on that corner because the E75 will come from the back, so he's pushing forward more and more, also protecting himself from the artillery. There is a T32. He's shooting HE, but even the HE doesn't have any chance of doing damage to the mouse. The armor is so thick that not even the 105mm shells from the T32 are able to do any damage to it. E75 gets tracked. He's shooting the front wheel of D75 in order to track him and also do damage. Because if D75 gets to the building, they still have a chance. But if he manages to kill D75 right then and there, he's able to fight off. Oh shit, the GW Type E. However, the gun depression on that thing is so bad that it couldn't shoot on that kind of angle. The T28, poor T28, has the stock gun and has absolutely no chance of penetrating him, and the GW Type is coming around. If that guy is shooting AP, he can even one-shot him right now. That's how bad the situation is. He gets dragged and the GW Type E, luckily he fired HE, 662 damage, still a massive amount of damage, but it's not gonna be enough. And now he almost kills the T28 by ramming him through the back. He's aiming at the GW again because the GW is the only thing that can kill him. And now it's him against the T28 and the poor T28 doesn't stand a chance. He shoots the back of the tank and it still bounces and he manages to kill off the T28 in a brutal engagement near the church on Lakeville. So he was able to rack up 9039 damage and 4000 damage blocked. It was a really awesome game. He showcased how good the armor the mouse is. He bounced a lot of shots even through the sides and the rear. Look at this bounce from the T28. It shows exactly how much the mouse can do. And if he was in any other really heavy tank, not the mouse, he probably wouldn't have been able to survive in this kind of situation because being shot at from so many sides. For example, in a T125, he would have died a lot quicker because he also wouldn't have had the HP pool to fight. He would have had a better gun with a better DPM, but the fact that he was surrounded so many times would have meant certain death for a tank like the T125. And this has been the full mouse review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative, that it helped you play the mouse better or fight against it, know how a mouse driver is thinking, and be able to use that against them or cooperate better with your mouse teammates. So I hope this has been informative for you guys. And if you did enjoy the video, please consider leaving down a like or subscribe, and have an absolutely awesome day.